yourself at home, do your do. Welcome to my pad, this your lab. Go create your move. I got a crib by the water. Say me casa, su casa. It feel like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. I got a crib.
What's good, everybody? It is 99 miles per hour. I'm Percy. I'm the host. I know you haven't seen me very much, but we got a guest today, and I'm very excited. And it's been something that I've been trying to do, and we were just talking how we each thought each other dropped the ball, but I'll take responsibility. But I'm glad we're actually finally recording this episode, and the plan is to bring more 99 miles per hour episodes within the Big Time Sports thing too. So I'm excited about today. We're going to talk about a lot of the things that I'm loving right now. So this is literally the best guest that we could have had today. But before we get into our guest, I just want to remind you guys, I do have a Discord channel. Make sure you guys follow into there. It used to be centered around baseball. Now it's just whoever. If you want to come in there to discuss baseball, pitching, I can help you. If not, it's whatever. We like to just create a community there. And as well, please subscribe here on the YouTube page. And also our guest, when we get to that, we're going to have all of his links in the description. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the man, the myth. No, this man literally lost 1,000 pounds. No, but no, it's incredible what he's done. And I've kind of been watching from the sidelines and not really. And then I bumped into him in Giant Eagle, and then a lot of things kind of just happened. And then here he is today, someone who I've learned a lot about. We've been talking off camera way too long. We should have been recording. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ryan Grewell. Ryan, how are you?
Wonderful. That is the best introduction I've had, so I appreciate that. Not 1,000 pounds, but close. Yeah, I've 275 pounds. It's funny. I ran into in Giant Eagle, I want to say over a year ago.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of changes since then. And, I knew of you. I didn't know you. And kept just working towards my goals, and then kept crossing paths. And then suddenly it's like, oh, man, this guy, he has a lot of similar interests. I mean, he's doing a lot of the same things. So I was really excited whenever you invited me on.
Yeah, I mean, I know we were texting back and forth, and we were both okay, because I didn't know you were into, I saw that you helped, and I saw on your Facebook page it was sister, but I didn't know if it meant blood sister. Or you were just this is my homegirl, and you helped, do, the photography at her wedding, and I was like, oh my gosh, cameras. I was like, we talk about cameras, we could talk about cycling. I've been trying to lose weight forever, and here we are. So, but today I want to talk about obviously where you're at in cycling and in your journey and your weight loss, but some other things as well, which we can get into, some of our other interests. But before we get into that real quick, I want to hit on, because I just completed my 100 miles, and I went from my house basically, and I took a little bit of a route to get to the towpath. So I went on White Bridge and went around just to make it longer, because I know that the towpath isn't 100 miles exactly right now, which we ended up having to go to Lake Erie to get to 100 miles. Anyways, watch died, didn't even get all of it recorded, so it's still a myth. People got to believe me or not, but
allegedly,
yeah, did it happen? But let's talk about yours. So you did, which I considered the harder version. I think everyone would agree with me, because I got to go down the Akron Hill and you had to go up it. But tell us about that. You were just telling me a little bit about it, but let's go into a little bit of how that was and everything. It wasn't just a joyride, was it?
Right. It was hard. First off, so I've done the version that you just talked about numerous times. So I want to make sure that it's known that 100 miles on a bicycle, no matter what you're doing or what direction, is difficult. It's not easy, and so props to you and congrats. But so I've done that version. You're kind of going downhill for the most part, especially from Akron all the way to Cleveland. But this ride that I got to do this past Saturday was with Huntington. So Huntington Bank sponsors the Towpath Century ride. They call it the 101. I got 100.5, I think it was.
Oh, so they're lying.
Yeah, 100%. I felt so guilty standing under the awards and the banner of when you come through. But no, it was really cool. It was everybody has to raise some money. There was a little over 80 cyclists that were doing the ride.
Dang.
There was all walks of life. Everybody from the owner of the Cleveland Guardians and down to little me. And I got invited by somebody that was on Team Huntington because there's multiple teams in there for the fundraising. And it was really neat because I basically was up front when they asked me, I don't have time to fundraise right now. Like, I've raised money for St. Jude. That's a cause that's important to me. So I typically do a lot for them every year. I was like, I don't have time for another fundraising effort. And they said, no, Huntington Bank will donate the money. So, that's the formalities. So now that those are out of the way, we started up in Cleveland 8 a.m. and 7 hours and 4 minutes later, I was at New Philly at the Holiday Inn. So, that was kind of nice. They fed you along the way. They had water stops. So I'm sure you didn't have that kind of support whenever you're doing the ride. I had multiple massages on this ride. Hey. So they had like massage therapists stationed in Akron, Massillon, and Philly. So like it's a fully supported ride. They feed you and everything, and they provide transportation at the end or in the beginning, whatever you need. And it was difficult. The last 11 miles were probably some of the hardest times that I've had cycling. So I just haven't been riding as much lately. I mean, I've ridden,
which we'll get into while you're not.
Yeah. I've ridden like 12,000 miles in the last almost 3 years. So in May of next year will be 3 years since I got on the bike. So yeah, 2.5 years, a little over 2.5 years. And it's like I've kind of really tailed off this past few months. And so I was really nervous getting on. I hadn't been on the bike in 2 weeks, and then jumped on, started the ride. It felt great. Had like a crazy average speed, like 16.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say it took you 7. It took me 8:14. So I was like, dang, what was this dude's average speed?
Well, that was our like speed for the first 50 miles, and then the group I was with, like they took off. Like we were definitely. It was not a race, but we were in first, and so. Those guys, as soon as we hit like the 55-mile mark, I really started feeling it. And I have a tendency to get like poor posture once I hit like a point of exhaustion. And, it takes some energy to keep yourself the way you're supposed to be. So then started like compounding. I had pain. And so I fell behind. I ended up with like a 14.5 average or something like that, 14.6. And, so the second half was definitely slower. But, overall, it was my fastest 100 miles by more than an hour.
Dang.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I think our average was like 12.2.
Yeah.
So, and it was just us two, and we were just kind of chilling.
Doing your thing, right?
It's the first time. But I have noticed ever since I've come back, my little rides that I do in the morning before work, I've been really putting the pedal to the metal and it's like, all right, how can I increase? Can I increase? But man, cycling is just... It's pretty amazing. And for you, like, I kind of want to talk about why you haven't been cycling as much. And it was right around the time that I kind of was like, hey, I want to have you on the show. I think it'll be great. Before we knew, we had a lot of other interests that were similar outside of cycling. And, what's been going on, man?
Yeah. So I had built a business, started in 2014, doing internet. So when I say that, I built internet infrastructure all across Eastern Ohio.
Big fan of Unify. You use all their products.
So very familiar with Ubiquity, actually.
Oh yeah, Ubiquity.
Yeah. So the owner, Robert Pera, like I'm in on contact, and I've met him personally. And
no way.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So, but I had thousands of his devices deployed. So it's funny that you mentioned that. But I built that business and had sold off bits and pieces of it. I'm sure we're going to talk about it here in a few, but like I've gone through a huge health change in the last few years. And I wanted to go through like a full mindset shift. It wasn't just, I want to change what I eat. I want to change who I am. I wanted to change what my work-life balance was. I wanted to change the things I was dedicated to. I wanted to just kind of refine me. And so I had sold off my company and was running it for the people I had sold it to. And they were amazing. They are really what allowed me to go and do this health change. And they really inspired me and supported me the whole way. But after I've lost the weight and I've become the better version of me, I decided to make a career shift. And so I've accepted a position in the world's largest version of what I had built, and on their senior leadership team. And so now I'm based in Texas. Every 6 weeks or so I go down there. But I'm new to this team. I've got a whole bunch of people that I'm working with and that report to me, and I'm trying to show them who I am. Everybody here that was in my organization knew who I was and how I worked and everything. Whereas in this one, it's like, well, I'm the new guy. Why listen to you? So I'm just trying to prove myself a little bit. And I think it's just kind of a, work ethic type of deal. And so I've been working on that a lot. I've biked a lot less because of that, which is killing me a little bit. Like I was 7,500 plus miles in last year at this point, and I am 2,500-ish in this year at this point. So definitely fallen off. And that's not all just because of this change I made in July, but like July, August, that's usually the bulk of when I was riding, and I've completely fallen off.
Well, do you usually go, do you transfer indoors riding, or when do you make that change, or you still go out in the cold and all?
Well, so if you asked me this last year before fall, I would have said yes. Like whenever it gets to below 40, like I'm always cold now. I was always hot, and then I lost the weight, and now I'm always like my hands right now are ice. And so like it was below 40, I would transition to indoors. I have a Garmin Tax E02 that's like their nice trainer that has like you can rock a little bit side to side and move forward and backwards, and I would do Zwift. And then I loved it. I did a ton of miles on it. My wife put her bike on it in the fall, and I have not been able to ride indoors since. And so if it's above 20, I've been riding. I've bought all the like heavy duty winter gear.
Of course.
I mean, it's just another. You're like me. I think you like to look at the stuff.
For sure.
And so I've got the like lobster claw looking gloves and the Rafa jacket and all this stuff.
I just got my first Rafa. I got the bib and if you do their core thing, you get the discount. That was me justifying it. Well, I get a 20% discount, guys.
Yeah, why wouldn't I not? Why would I not do this? Yeah.
And it is different.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I always did the cheapy Amazon.
Yep.
Like, because when I was losing weight, it was like, well, I'm going to buy this and then 3 months later be out of it. It's like buying a little kid shoes, they grow out of them so fast. And so I was like, I'll buy something, that's cheap. And then I got my first Rafa stuff, and it was like, this is incredible. And I know there's some placebo there because it's like Supreme and, all these big brands, but the materials are so much better. The bibs are just like, primo, and
I felt like I didn't feel my seat. I was like, okay, maybe this is just the beginning. It's later, I'll start feeling it again, right? I was like, this is amazing.
Well, I bought their core winter jacket, and if it's below 40, I throw that thing on. It breathes just enough to where you don't get all hot, and it's got like the front panel is a wind blocker, and it still has the jersey pockets on the back. It's got a zipper on the side to like stick your wallet in. That's waterproof, and it's super nice. So I'll do that in the winter with like the Bontrager or Trek winter tights. Okay. And my wife, like, she has old yoga pants that were like black leggings, and in the beginning it was like, give me a pair of those. I'm gonna try these on. And then she got to go and tell everybody that I had stretched into these terrible women's leggings and go ride my bike. But you know what? Like, we're dressed ridiculous.
Yeah,
like,
it's already there.
Whether I was in men's or women's, who cared? I mean, they had a little heart on the top back of them, is what I'll say. And so I had to make sure my jersey was over that.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. Man, yeah, I don't have any winter gear, but I'm already thinking about it.
You're gonna need it.
You're gonna have to have a conversation with the wife. We just put a TV outside. I'm cheap in some areas.
Yeah. You're like me, where you're cheap in areas where it's just things that don't matter to you, right?
Yeah. But I was like, I had one of my friends install some electric in our back, and I'm like, I'm gonna put a TV here. And then it's been like 16 months, and he's like, you still haven't put a TV? I'm like, I'm waiting on it to go on sale. Finally went on sale, and then we got it. So it's all good. It's all good. But no, before I tell you my whole life story, we're here for you. I'm curious just because, we talked about, your 100, and, I still can't believe it, like an hour faster than me, but I'm gonna just say, because, you had all those people pushing you.
We had a tailwind,
Oh, there you go. There, that's what it was. You were using their draft.
Yeah.
But no, I know you came in and got to see the setup we got here, which we'll talk a little bit, even though you're a Nikon person. And if Gianni's watching this, Nikon. No, I'm joking. No, Nikon's good. Nikon's good. But I really want to kind of hone in on kind of where, like, how you got to where you're at now. You've already alluded to, things that you want to change about yourself. And so how did you get here? How did it even begin? When were you like, okay, I need to change something?
Yeah. So here's the thing. Subconsciously, I knew the whole time I think I needed to change something. It didn't like putting on the weight wasn't like I snapped my fingers and I went from being a normal healthy person to being 487 pounds.
Yeah.
So, but there's just this like mentality. If I would go and try to like change it, so I did right before COVID. I started going to the gym, Route 250 here in town, and there was a trainer there, Maksud Harrington was his name. He was phenomenal, and he worked with me so well, and I was making good progress, and then I fell off. Like I used COVID as an excuse because like, what did I need but an excuse to not do the thing that I was trying to do? And but other than that, every other attempt to lose weight, it was like you had said, hey, I need you to go to like Portland, Oregon, and I'm going to give you a pogo stick. And I'm gonna. The only way you can make forward progress is if you hop on that pogo stick. And it was like, whoa, like that's not. I'm never gonna start that. Like that's just how big the journey felt.
Yeah.
And in January of 23, so this was like January 23rd, 2023. I had, and I'll get you these photos.
Okay.
I had launched a project with a few other businesses and Governor DeWine and Lieutenant Governor Husted. And there's a picture of all these guys from like Jobs, Ohio, and Lieutenant Governor Husted at the time, and me. And it was a bunch of sticks and a stone. Is like the way I looked at it. It was like, there's me. One of these things is not like the other. And so it was like, okay, I knew I needed to make a change, but then there's this photo that like goes all over social media and people are like, look at this stuff, and I was like, I was really proud and I was happy, and it was really nice, all the support from like former classmates and things like that had shared all this stuff, about it. But then I'm seeing this picture. I'm behind the camera usually, not in front of me.
Yeah.
And I had to go buy a suit, from like a tent maker is what it felt like. And so I'm just looking at all my flaws, and whereas my mom's sitting back like, oh, look how handsome,
Yeah.
And so I went to the wife and was like, I really want to make a change, and she was prepared. She's my biggest cheerleader, and she was preparing though for the next stumble. She's like, hey, you've done this a lot, but you'll lose 40 and gain 50 back, so you're not better for it when you try. If you're going to do it, but if not, don't. And it was like that little bit of come to Jesus moment really clicked with me. And then one of my mentors also came to me because he knew this was kind of in the air, and said he would support me in any way, shape, or form, and like had like full blown conversation with me. And so I started out 487, weighed in January 31st, 2023, and it was like and I didn't just like snap my fingers and change my diet and like suddenly I was a better person. It was I had gotten prescribed one of those GLP-1s that you hear about all the there's two different types of people that take that. There's the person that is needs to lose 10 pounds and is abusing it, and then there's the person that's 500 pounds that blood type maple basically is where I was at. It was like I was a train wreck. I was a heart attack waiting at that point. And so I used that at the beginning, which really it allowed me to like curb my appetite and focus on the things that were that needed to change. So then it was like I made a full-on assault. Like, I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to start moving. And like what moving meant to me at that time, before this was I walked to the fridge. I walked out to my truck. I walked my truck into the building. And that was about it. I'd get like 2,000 steps a day max, And well, today's been a long one. But I got to do a workout tonight. But I did that stuff, and it was like all of a sudden I started walking around the block. And photography, I had I don't know if you've ever seen the Leica Q2.
Yep.
So I had the Q2, little boutique portable camera, and started walking around. I have like 1 million photos of downtown New Philly now, like reflections like the Welcome to Our City sign and a rain puddle and all this stuff, And
that's got a... is that a prime lens or is that?
Yeah, it's a 28. It's 28 f1.7, like a Summilux lens. It's ridiculous. Yeah. There's a reason it's expensive camera. Yeah. But I walked around the neighborhood and started just moving, and I set a goal. I'm like, I want to lose 60 pounds by October, because this is really vain, but in October, there's a trade show, which I'm getting ready for now. But every October, there's a trade show in my industry called WISPA-Palooza, the Wireless Internet Service Providers Palooza, if I could talk. And I was like, if I lose 60 pounds by then, people will see that difference. And, you know, that'll be a good boost to my ego. It'll be like, you know, and that sometimes that can push you, you know, that can get you to really go along. And so I set that goal, and March 6th, I weighed in 60 pounds down. I was like, oh, okay. Like, we went from 487 to 427. And so then I was like, all right, 100 pounds by October, because, like, I can't sustain this loss. Like, this is just, like, beginner's luck. And, you know, I'm doing all the right things now, but I know I'm going to screw this up, you know? And so then June 1st, I weighed in 100 pounds down. What's crazy about it, I used an app called Lose It.
Okay.
It's on the Apple App Store. It's like a little picture of a scale, and like you can sync up your scale, and it'll weigh every time you weigh it, it stores it on the date, and it has like a chart showing you all of it. But the cool thing is, it shows you like it'll be like you've lost the equivalent of 10 bowling pins. Or
Oh,
like,
so that is cool.
yeah. So like I hit a point at one point where it was like you've lost a sofa. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, they really went ham when they programmed this thing. Like. You've lost a 1983 Chevy, you know, or whatever. And it was like, this is.
Oh my, that's hilarious.
But it just, the momentum that was there, I thought that I'd be 2 years in and be at like the 120 down and still have a problem and all this. And it just, like, not to get real with it for a second, but it's like, I sort of became addicted with the cycling. I stayed with the diet, and I still ate ice cream and did all this stuff. But like, they always say like fat cyclists don't stay fat cyclists for long. And I thought, I read that when I was a big guy, and I'm like, that's really rude. And what I wasn't understanding is it's because you just can't, like, if you ride enough, like, you just lose it. And, now I will say that I was putting an unhealthy amount of hours into the bike. But
well, Zwift will tell you, hey, take a break.
My Strava has popped up and been like, you're overtrained. And I'm like, shut up, you know.
I've never seen that. I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, you go and like put in a 250, 300, 400, even 500 mile week, and like it'll pop and be like, you are clearly exhausted. Your quads are going to die. Like, you need to slow your roll, kid.
Take a breather.
So, but yeah, that's, you know, I kind of just really changed the things I was into, changed the stuff that I was doing. And that allowed me to just jumpstart the whole thing. In May, in that whole process, I picked up a bike for the first time. And I went
dang. So you hadn't even started biking until May?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, I didn't know that bikes have like a weight limit. And typical bikes are like 270 to 300 pounds.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Yeah. It's like, oh boy. Well, I had like a Walmart beach cruiser that I'd bought to like look at, apparently, because I think I'd only put like 3 miles on it ever before. And I jumped on the thing and was riding it around the block, and like the wheel messed up and spokes broke, and then like the chain broke and the crank was messed up. And then I had like a mountain bike that I'd bought at like a yard sale, I think, or maybe I can't remember where I got it. And it fell apart on me, like the hill over here on Front Street. I was riding up it towards town, and like loud pop. I about went over the bars, chain broke. And like, it turns out, you know, when you're 400 pounds, the bike wasn't made for that activity, you know? And so they were bikes in, like, as if you drew a picture of what a bike is, they fit that description, but like, they aren't bikes, you know what I mean? And, you know, I know what you ride, so you have a real bike, you know? So I went into our local bike shop, and Ernie's here in New Philly, and they hooked me up. They showed me everything about it. They let me ride some stuff, and they never were like, hey man, you're too big for that, or anything like that. And I picked up Trek Dual Sport 3, it was called, and I started riding right away. I kept going to the towpath with it, and like, I remember the first time I rode from 800 to Zor and back, and then I was like, oh, I still feel good enough, so like I went one more go, and then I was like, all right, so I think I can do the whole thing. I rode like 800 to Fort Lawrence and back, And then I got to the point where like 2 months in, I had ridden to Navarre and back from 800. And then I got to the point where I rode to Massillon and back. And that bike, well, I did something really stupid. So I posted on Facebook, St. Jude. I posted for every $1 you donate to St. Jude, send me the receipt. And I think I did like a Facebook donate thing. I was like, send me your receipt and I'll ride a mile for every $1 you donate. Well, a bunch of rich fat cats or just people that hate me or something had donated it, and I owed like a couple $1,000s at that point. And so I was like, all right, well, we'll just do the thing. And that's what really spurred the whole.
Just do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what?
I promise it. You know.
Yeah. How do you eat an elephant? Well, I could have, but one bite at a time, and it just spurred like this whole addiction. Now I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But I also feel really free when I'm on my bike.
Yeah.
Do you feel that like freedom? I think it's like disconnecting from the digital. You're not like.
Well, mine started when I was a kid, so there wasn't really digital. I just felt like, because I had, my dad was pretty strict, and I felt like he'd be at work, and in the summer I'm on my bike, and I would, you can't do it nowadays because they kidnap people and stuff like that. But back in the day, I would ride from, I lived right next to the fair, so I'd go all the way to northern Dover, all the way to Walmart. Like I just rode all with my friends, and I was like, I could do what I want. This is freedom then, but now I get what you're saying.
Well, did you put the bike down at one point and like not touch it for a long time? Yeah. So that's what happened to me. I was 14 or 15, and I don't remember the last time I rode my bike.
I don't either.
And then I didn't touch it again until I decided that I wanted to make this change, and it was like the most freeing thing. I was riding a few blocks in the very beginning on that beach cruiser, and it was like I kept coming back to the house, like telling my wife how excited I was. I have a picture that I'll send you, and it's me in like a button-up shirt, jeans, and I'm on this beach cruiser. And it was the first day. It was like May 6th. I try to remember the dates because like I talk about this stuff a lot, and it's funny to me. Like that day started this obsession. I felt like I was run over by a truck just riding like 6 blocks one way and 6 blocks back or whatever it was. Crazy. And, but it was like, I felt so free. And it's like, I could drive my car around that all day long and it means nothing. Yeah. But the bike, like that freedom has still carried on for me. It's just something about like, now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to ride down to Cumberstown and back and from New Philly and get 50 miles in. And it's like, by the end, I'm like, I make poor decisions in my free time. So.
Yeah, I'm still in that. I get, I'm in that where I'm looking at, people make the comment, oh, don't get on social media. You see everybody's highlights. Yeah. You never see what real life is. I do that with Strava. I get on there. I'm like, dang, this person went 50 miles. This person went 100. Yeah. I only went 10. What am I doing? And I'm just like looking. I'm like, dang, look at their gear. Look at their bike. And, Sandy Alomar was the first one to get me into biking. And he had a, Venge. He had all these. And I'm just like, I want all these bikes, and I'm gonna watch my mouth when I'm gonna say it, but I used to look at bike porn all the time. Where I'm just like, oh, I want this bike. I know it's $12,000.
Incredible things and all this stuff.
And I'm like, I need to get my life together.
You know what? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yep.
I did that with Strava in the beginning too, and I would look at this and be like, at first it was really. It almost demotivated me at first because I was like, man, I'm never going to be one of those guys that has this incredible like watts per kilogram. Yep. There's a guy I know, Jim, that owns YM Camera up in Boardman, and Jim's like 5'2" maybe, and maybe 5'5". Sorry, Jim, if you're watching, but Jim has like all the top leaderboard spots because he rides like a super nice premium bike. He has a ton of power. And he goes out there and really just puts in the miles. And it's like on his frame, like going up hills is nothing for him. And whereas like there I am lugging like a suitcase's worth of weight extra, And so I'm like, at first that stuff it demotivated me. And then I realized like that could be goals. So then I started looking at it like, I'd scroll through and be like, that guy's doing, he did 50 miles and, with a 16.5 average or whatever. Yep. I'm going to go out and do that. Oh, he had 2,500 feet of climb. Like, And then I started using it as like a route selection. So I'd go look at what routes people were riding.
Yep.
And that really is where it took off because I didn't know where to ride. Like also riding on the road still a little sketchy.
Yeah. And Strava, kind of doesn't, it's not like its job to know exactly Tuscarawas County.
Yeah.
So I'll look up a gravel road.
Yeah.
It says it's a gravel ride, and I get there and I'm like, this is
nicer pavement than where my house is. Like, what is happening?
But also I try to, when I first started riding again,
yeah.
It was like 2017, 2018. I had just signed with the Orioles. I was with the Indians and signed with the Orioles, and I was riding to the field every day. I was obsessed, and I was there. And at that time, the farthest I ever rode was 30 miles. But to me, I was trying to figure out everywhere I can go. And I had, the skinny little road tires, and I was perfect for Florida. But when I came home, I'm like, I need a different bike. So it went in the basement and it stayed there for a long time. And I would ride indoors Swift, but I would never go outside because I got a flat tire once and I was afraid to go outside.
Like, I'm not dealing with that anymore.
No. But now with my bike, I don't have that thing. And I'm also thinking like, I want to ride until December if I'm able to, and I just want to keep doing it. My wife kind of challenged me, kind of like how your wife did when you were like, all right, I'm for real this time. And she's like, how are you? So she's like, you're spending all this money on this bike. You better ride it or we're going to have
get your value out of it. You're going to make this happen.
Now she's like, okay, you may be riding a little too much. Do you really want to do 100 miles? But at the end of the day, I think it's, sometimes it's okay to use maybe negative motivators. Yeah. I would say sometimes it's okay if it gets you to get the job done and you're not putting anybody at risk, including yourself. So
that's the big thing. Like, how do you harness that energy and go, all right, instead of letting that beat me up, I'm not saying go bully first off, but I will say like, I'm not going to let that person's comment, cause there are like underhanded comments that come out with the weight loss thing. Yeah. Or like, you look way happier now. And I'm like, I am the same guy I've always been. Yeah. I will say like, I live a more fulfilled life now, I would say, but also like, how miserable was I? Yeah. And, so some of that stuff, you could really dwell on that, or you could take it and be like, you know what? Like, I'm going to go make the best out of all this and use that. So I think the riding, it's just, how do we quantify that for people that haven't gone out and ridden all these miles? It's like, I've run into all these people that are like, oh, 5 miles in, I'd be just dead. And I'm like, you don't realize that 5 miles is so attainable and so easy. And just get out there and ride. It's so freeing, but it's the best thing that you can do for your health. I mean, I have just completely changed my cardio, my heart health.
Well, not according to your Apple Watch.
But. Yeah. Apple Watch version 1. Tim Cook, we've got to talk. But it just, it pops up and tells me I have poor cardio. And I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Sure thing. Whatever. But so maybe it's motivated me by being like, hey, we're going to tell this guy he's slow and go from there. But no, speaking about routes and learning where gravel roads are and things like that, I think you might know this guy as well, John Kelly. Yep. So John, I started riding with him. He has a group that he calls Average Joe Cyclist
Club. I rode with them 2 years ago.
Yeah. And that was right around, so I probably rode the tail end. You probably rode the beginning, I'm guessing. And so I started riding with them, and John started taking me and showing me different routes, and we would challenge each other. And then like 2024, he said he was in like the best shape he had ever been in because like, I pushed him, he pushed me, but then he took me and showed me all these places that I didn't even know existed in our county and gave me all these cycling routes and stuff. So like we've rode, I mean, the last few months I've barely rode, but we've ridden so many miles together, and it's just kind of a like keep each other accountable, push each other and do the thing. So that's the other thing that I would say, like the people in the hobby is just, I mean, they're some of the best people I've ever met.
Yeah. I will say, John, I'm sorry, but I've been once, I got that flat tire once. I went because he's the one actually I bought my indoor trainer off of him.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, when you taking that thing out of the basement? I'm like, it's staying there.
Never.
I'm trying to earn cool wheels in Zwift. Leave me alone. But no, to me it's great. I'm glad someone introduced it to me. And I've always liked biking, but I never looked at it as like hey, this is a vehicle I can use, I guess pun intended, but
Yeah.
this is something I can use to, make myself more healthier, enjoy things. And I was always going to be the road guy. I was like, I don't want, but gravel wasn't huge when I bought my bike in 2018, 2017.
Yeah, it's really come a long way.
Yeah, but I was like, I want to be fast. I want to lose weight so I can be fast. And I was like, I got into it and I had been riding. I was like, I want to see if I can get in some crit races, And then I looked and like the average person is like 150 pounds. Like, oh, okay, that's not gonna
the way my body works, it's
freaking dangerous.
Yeah.
I started, following Justin Williams and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that looks so cool. I want to do that. But I was like, do I really? So I've been teetering the gravel thing, and I still like riding on road. And I've heard people make comments, oh, you wish you still had that road bike, don't you? I'm like, no, this hill is terrible because I'm 270 pounds. I was 220 last time I did this hill, and it wasn't that bad. But at the end of the day, I love my bike that I have now. It encourages me to ride. And I'm not saying, hey, trick yourself into buying some expensive bike, but it has made me want to. And the thing I like to do sometimes is I bought a bike from Walmart.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I'm going to ride this 500 miles. And once I get to 500, I'm going to buy a real bike. And the bike I bought from Walmart said it can fit anyone 5'9" to 6'3", which is obviously impossible.
Yeah, that's insane.
And I'm down in Florida with this bike, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, my back's hurting. They're like, well, yeah, because that bike is way too small for you.
You bought a thing that resembles a bike, but wasn't really a bike.
Yes. And once I got, an actual bike, I was blown away because when I was a kid, I avoided anything with gears. I was BMX because I thought gears, they mess up, but then my first bike I had Shimano 105s on, and I was like, okay, these are amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm never getting a bike lower than Shimano 105. And, now I'm on GRX, and I want to go wireless, but I'm like, I don't need to do that. I want these new zip wheels. I don't need to do that, especially when I'm on the towpath and the rocks are getting kicked up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this a smart decision? But
I have a philosophy. I buy gear, and my wife always wants to like roll her eyes. But what's crazy is she supported me on this whole like journey and would go and take care of, she went and bought me my first gravel wheel set and stuff. I was telling you a little bit about that earlier, and she stole my bike and went and had it done before I got. She took but I was asking where the money was when I got back. No, but she surprised me with that, and she was always into it. And the thing was, it didn't necessarily make me faster, more efficient, because there's diminishing returns. Like once you get all the stuff, like the next thing, just because it's red doesn't mean it's faster.
Yeah.
And but it made me want to ride more. So like I would go and get something like a different set of tires, or some new bar tape, or computer, or whatever it was, and all of that stuff. It augments the hobby, but also reignited my love for it, and it just kept me going.
Yep.
And that's kind of why I poured so many hours into. I mean, that, and I'm obsessive with it. But I mean, it truly is something that you can do and look at and be like, all right, it was worth spending the $500 on this stuff. At the end of the day,
because I've put 1,000 more hours or not miles on my bike because of that thing. Kept me like, oh, I want to do this.
I want to do this thing. Yeah. I mean, I know you don't have a Wahoo.
I have a Wahoo a cadence and a speed meter to put on my bike, but I don't have the actual computer.
We got to get you that, but we also got to get you. Do you have a radar?
I do not.
So you got to look up. Like I have the Trek Carback, but Wahoo also.
And that's the thing that lets you know when a car is coming, because I'm constantly doing.
Yeah. So I'm a nerd, so I don't care what dorky stuff I look like. I ride with the mirror on the corner of my glasses, so I see back. But also, if I, because you can't watch behind you 24 hours a day.
Yeah, for sure.
The radar picks cars. I think the stated distance is like 970 or 1,000 feet.
Okay.
And but it's never missed a car. So I have never had a car go by me that I didn't know about from either the mirror or the radar. At least the radar, if not both. And to me, you're not going to stop somebody from. That's not going to stop somebody from making a mistake, because you know what can happen being on the road and stuff. Not to get real with it, but. And really talk, down. But it is a scary part of our hobby. It's just like the guys that go out and ride motorcycles. The motorcycle is, there's some things that happen. Yeah. And so with the biking and the amount of hours I was putting into it, my wife was really worried. And so I went.
My wife's kind of worried too.
Yeah, I went to a bike fit, and somebody had rode a bike out on the highway in Dover area, wearing all black, and at night, and no reflectors, no lights, and had been hit. And it wasn't known, it wasn't published like who it was or anything. And somebody that has known me a long time called me, but I was in my bike fit and I didn't answer.
Oh,
So then they're panicking, and it happened the night before. This is in the next morning, and then they called my wife, or tagged me on Facebook or something. I don't remember how it ended up connecting to my wife, but she's there at the bike shop, Ernie's in Canton.
Okay.
And so she hangs up on the phone, and I had watched a YouTube video for a radar, and she supported my addiction, but she got me this radar, and I cannot ride without it. Like,
Really?
I won't ride on the road without it at all. I'll ride the towpath and not have it on, but I won't ride any part of the road. I mean, there's just this confidence that happens with that.
True.
So I'll get off my soapbox.
No, no, you're good. I mean, I was kind of stupid when I first started riding, and then something happened where they were paying attention. Everything was good, but they just scared me with their horn.
Yeah.
Which is I think is illegal, but
Yeah.
everything else, they weren't near me or anything. They were just driving, and it was here.
Yeah.
And I'm in my zone, and I got my one AirPod in.
Yeah.
Because I don't wear both. I want to be able to hear,
Yeah.
But Joe Warcall wants me to get those
Shocks.
Yeah,
That's what
he's
I
like,
wear.
You need those, man.
I was waiting until you were done, and I was going to go, I got something else for you to spend your money
Oh
on.
my gosh! Just make me a list
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Amazon,
yeah.
and I'll
I got you.
But no, all that stuff, man. YouTube is I look there and I watch, a few people, and I'm just like, oh, I want that. I want that. I want that. And it's a slippery slope, but also like there's some positives to it that like we talked about. But yeah, before we, I kind of want to quickly get before we, because I know we gotta, wrap up here soon. I wanted to ask you how content creation was for you, but real quick, just off your memory, can you tell me, some of the bikes you've known, and maybe we'll put pictures up on the screen if you remember. Kind of the ones if you can remember as a kid, obviously the Mongoose and stuff like that, but like the bikes you've had.
So you want me to talk about even like my modern stuff too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
That's primary.
Yeah.
So,
we're gonna get that one. I want to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So as a kid, I always had BMX stuff. Like that was all I ever had. I did have like one mountain bike, and it was like. Remember Ames? Whenever Ames was the store at the mall, that was like a department store where.
Ames in the store in the mall. I thought you were talking about a bike brand. Yeah, I remember Ames.
So I had it had like 7 shocks, and it was basically a spring with wheels, and it was miserable. And I think I rode it once, but other than that, that was kind of BMX. And then I had the Trek Dual Sport 3 Gen 5, which is that's their like hybrid bike. Had 50 mil wide tires, and it's pretty nice. Went from that to a Trek Checkpoint SL5, and so that's their carbon fiber gravel bike. Base level on the carbon fiber front, and then upgraded the wheels with the, I'm reading off specs because I'm a nerd, but
we're similar.
Yeah, the Bontrager Aeolus Pro 37V wheels, and those are 37 mil high. Wheels, and they're super light, super strong, super stiff, and they've been flawless for me. And then like the baby, long story that I don't necessarily need to go all the way through, I got the opportunity to get a Trek Madone SLR9 Gen 8, which is that's their Halo bike. That is. I don't even know how to describe it. It weighs 15 pounds. Everything.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
Yeah.
My bike weighs 20 pounds.
Yeah. And my bike, because I have bags and stuff on it and toolkit and stuff, like my gravel bike, my Checkpoint, it weighs like 21 or something like that. And I was like, okay, well, that's a little bit of a difference. But like, you ever picked up a pop can that you thought was still full, and you do one of those?
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. Like when I picked that bike up the first time, I was like, whoa. And but everything's carbon. I mean, it's carbon cranks, carbon frame, carbon wheels, carbon bars, carbon seat. I mean, not just the seat post, not just the seat rails. Like the seat itself is carbon. And the bike's awesome. It's a Project One. It's got my name on it, and it's. I almost feel bad riding it just because it's like. This is what they ride in the Tour de France. This is what guys that are paid to do this, they ride. And then there's, me that's out there just like, I like bikes, like this is, I'm not doing that thing any justice, but I have like gone out and it's fast. I mean, it's hard to not be fast on that thing. Like you have to want to try to be slow on it, I think. Have you ridden the Connaughton Creek Trail over in Bowerston? So it goes from Bowerston to Jewett. And it's like 11 and a half miles one way, all paved. There's 4 or 5 covered bridges on it. It's a beautiful trail. Okay. Some like nice, wetlands along the way, and, goes through the town of Scio. There's an ice cream stand in the middle. So if you're an ice cream addict like me, there's a spot. And, I went out and I've ridden that a bunch. And then, this last time I went out and rode it, I was like, I'm going to hammer down and just see what happens on this thing. And I made it from Bowerston to Jewett in like 32 minutes, I think it was, and was second on the Strava leaderboard for all time. So it's like, and I was only like 40 seconds off from the first place spot. So I want to go out. I had a slight headwind, actually. I want to go out and, because that's a long time, 30 some odd minute segment. Most segments, for those of you that don't know, on Strava are like, this took 30 seconds or this took 18 seconds. This is, 30 plus minutes. And so I want to go out with a tailwind and see if I can't snatch that first place spot. And but that bike is just, it's, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a Ferrari. I always tell people I have the Bugatti of bicycles.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've seen one in real life.
Yeah.
They were from Illinois and they came to our Ernie's. I don't remember what year this was. It definitely was before, Trek had morphed a lot of their. They still had the Damani and the, what's the other one?
The Monda.
Yeah. So now, it's a little bit different, but I always looked at the, I was like, the Madone is something that's way out there. Yeah. But I was like, Damani, I kind of want to get one of that, But no, man, that's, I had the, talk about mine real quick. I had the, a mongoose, but the one I was really in love with as a kid was a Diamondback. So one of my friends had got a new one, and, his was kind of rusted. He didn't, he was about to throw it away. And I was like, dude, let me take that, you know? And I took an SOS pad to it, repainted it. And I was like, I was like feeling myself, and I didn't put any brakes on it because I'm a moron. Ended up falling off, bad injury. I still got scars from it. And I was in 6th grade, I think, at the time.
I think I did the
it was
same
Second
thing.
Street, Second Street, that big old Second Street hill.
Oh yeah.
And I tried to stop with my feet, and then turn, and I flew. It was great. Then I had a crush on this girl. I had to go to her house as I'm crying. It was sweet. But anyway,
Percy tells all.
Yes, I'm telling it all. But no, and then I loved my, the Walmart bike. We're not even. It was a Kent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about. And then I got the Giant Defy Advanced, and there's some bad news out on Giant, but the Giant Defy Advanced was. I love that bike, but now I have this thing where I don't want any of the cable showing, and I had like 37.
You're just like, there's a whole like interconnected city's worth of cabling.
Now I'm like, this one I was purchasing soon. I was like, I don't want any, but integrated, handlebars. We'll buy that later. So that's in my way. I've been looking for those.
Gives you goals, something to do.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, I probably should spend $600 on that. Hopefully the wife isn't watching before I spend $1,100 on the wheels because the zip wheels out. I'm like, And I just go to the website sometimes and I'm just like. But yeah, I'm sorry. Bike porn's done. It's good to hear your history, and man, one of these days I'll have to see the Madone in person.
Oh, absolutely.
And I did watch your video on cleaning, and I bought a lot of the muck off stuff. Now I just need to get that thing to hold my bike right now because I'm doing it out in front of the garage, and
I will tell you that thing is a change. It changes everything about like taking care of the bike and all. I mean. I was like, I want it. And my wife was like, do you really need that? And then I was like, I kind of want it. And she was like, let's go.
I kind of want.
So I bought it, and then I use it all the time.
Yeah.
And it makes it to where you can keep the drive line clean. And stuff.
Yep.
That car wash video or bike wash video was fully AI. The script, the tags, the title, how to edit together, what shots to get.
Really?
It was an experiment. Is all that was.
Dang.
Yeah. It's kind of neat.
I might have to use it because I use Notion. I'm in Notion right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would know what Notion
Oh,
is.
yeah.
Love Notion. It's
Yeah.
my favorite application. I made Rainbow Connection. That's what we use there in the office. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really use the AI that much in Notion. I need to. They just put out a 3.0 update, and I need to use AI more than I do.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. But yeah, okay. So we went into the bike stuff. I really quickly just want to touch on, because we, maybe in a year I'll have you back and we talk cameras and all that stuff. Because it's already,
It's already 5 o'clock.
yeah,
Stuff happens.
So to end the show, I just want to kind of, talk about quickly, how content creation is going for you. I know we just earlier in the podcast we talked about how you've been busy with work, and then real quick, if you just want to, maybe put some out there, or some goals that you got now that you've lost 1,000 pounds, and now you got you got a new goal of things you want to accomplish. Just fill us in on that, and you don't have to share those goals that because I call these the goals that people will judge you for, where they'll look and like, well, who does he think he is? But I think you have to have those goals.
Yeah.
And those ones you keep to yourself. But like the politically correct goals.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So actually, I shared my goals and what I was doing the whole time I was doing my journey, just because I wanted some sort of form of accountability. Like if I tell you that I'm doing this thing, and then the next time I see you, I'm up 30 pounds, you're gonna be like, hey man, like what's going on here? Or you're gonna give me a look where it's kind of shocking. But yeah, the content creation, it's kind of just fun for me, to be honest. I wanted to really fill people into the stuff I was doing. I've got to do a lot of amazing things on the bike. I mean, I've ridden Pittsburgh to DC, and I've done RAGBRAI, the Register's annual Great Bike Ride across Iowa, which is 400 plus to 500 miles. I've done that 2 years in a row with 30,000 other people, which was amazing. So I've just kind of done a lot of that. I did the Manitou Incline. So I did put a video together. That's like one of the hardest hikes in America, like tourist hikes, gain over 2,000 feet in less than a mile. And it's you have to bear crawl up parts of it and stuff stuff like that. I just kind of wanted to do that. Because I love video and technology and audio editing, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But also it was a way for me to like share my story and kind of document some things. My one regret, this whole time I was losing weight, like from the very beginning, was not like, I've got photo documents, but I never did video. I should have did a documentary, because I guarantee you that thing would have got picked up by a Netflix.
And I was thinking like a journal. Instead of writing in a journal, you're just kind of doing your thing.
Yeah, I should have done that. But no, I will say, like, content creation is really slow for me. I have 35 hours of footage to go through from different events. Like I did Cincinnati to Cleveland in June. We did that in like 4 days on the hottest weekend of the year, which was insane. I haven't put anything out from that. I've done a Century Ride that I have video from. I did a trip out to Nebraska, western Nebraska, and did a bunch of hiking out there, and I have video from that. So it's just like I haven't got around to any of it. Slowly but surely, those things. Whenever I have a slow, dead weekend, I kind of save all of that nerdy stuff for whenever I can't go outside because it's so crappy. Yeah. And so I'm not looking forward to winter because I'm always cold, but it'd be nice to catch up on some of that. But yeah, as far as goals though, realistically, my goal is to like find my groove and really start hitting cycling really hard again, and continuing to branch out. One thing I didn't touch on is my son's really into like dirt bikes, like riding in the woods and stuff. Not necessarily motocross, but like trail riding, enduro stuff. Okay. And so he talked me into getting a dirt bike. Terrified. That thing will hurt you quick. And I apparently bought the wrong thing. So I
at
bought
least your feet aren't clipped in. Are they?
no, yeah, they're not clipped in. No, fortunately. But I have crashed it. I've crashed it more than I ever crashed a bicycle. So I've crashed it 3 or 4 times. And but it is. I didn't want to do it at first because I was like, that's going to take time away from cycling. So that's another thing that's kind of. And I was like, I don't want to detract from my fitness goals. Holy cow, that's a workout.
Really?
It is. So I didn't know this, but Supercross is actually the most physical sport. And I know there's going to be people that are like, "Oh yeah, but my granddad sumo wrestled, and that's what." But no, it's Supercross is like one of the most physically demanding, chews you up, spits you out type of thing. Like if you look at heart rate insights, there is nothing else that has that level for the athlete. And now I'm not doing that. I'm just going out and putting around in the woods. But, manhandling a 250-pound bike when it weighs more than you and going up and doing all this stuff in the woods. And, I think part of my heart rate is just I'm terrified of the thing because I still respect it enough because I don't know. I didn't grow up on them. True. And
it's different than,
so
whipping a Madone around the corner.
So I think my goals really are spend more time with the family. I got selfish over the last 2 years. And because that many hours on the bike, you're not home. And because I was still working a career and building a business. And so, I'm connected with the family more, which part of why I've kind of put down the bike a little bit, but also just to keep trying new things. Like the dirt bike was one of those, like, it's an uncomfortable thing to jump on. It's not me. And the whole time I was losing weight, it was like I had 2 mottos. One's a little off color, but it was like seek discomfort. So that's a big thing for me. Like when I realized I was comfortable, I wasn't growing, I wasn't getting better. So the couch, comfort kills you. So seek discomfort. And then the other one was embrace the suck. And that was just kind of my thing.
I love
like,
that one.
Yeah. So like anything that was just like, man, this sucks. And so anything that was like that, I realized I was just getting, I was getting better, and that, they're like, pain is weakness leaving the body, not trying to be like a poster in a middle school classroom, but it is, it is really rewarding to find those things. But now I need to like branch out. I'm the type of person that eats like the same 4 meals over and over and over again.
I do the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm trying to like find things that I'm not good at, things that are new to keep life interesting, because, I just lived a lot of my life from like 16, 17 on as an obese person. And now I have like the physical fitness to go do all of this stuff. So that's my biggest goal. Now my sub goal in that, and I think I told you about this, and it goes back to biking a little bit, is that I still have the skin of a 487-pound man. So like that does not necessarily go away. You can burn fat, can't burn off skin. It
wouldn't be fun if you did.
No, it would be a really bad time. And so I'm working towards, having that procedure done, which will cut some weight off of me, and then my watts per kilogram will go up.
Hey,
so
there we go.
I'll be faster on some hills, and I'm going to go get that first place from Bowerston to Jewett on the Conotton Creek Trail.
There we go.
But those are my like things that I'm really working on now.
I like those goals because I used to try to. Well, I'm avoiding hills now, but when I first started riding, 6 years ago, I was going for Dice Hill. I was going for hills, and just to ride them, just to say, oh yeah, I went up that hill.
Yeah.
Going down, I was actually really afraid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got up to 47 mile an hour on my Giant, and I was like, if I hit a pebble, I'm dead.
A squirrel comes out, you're done.
It's over. but no, man, I appreciate, you come in and chat with me, man. And like you said, we definitely got to hang out off camera.
Yeah.
We do share a lot of things in common, and, eventually I'll be able to get on your biking level. And
I'm equal opportunity ride person. You tell me, time and a place, I'll meet up and ride. And I ride with everybody from my 12-year-old who absolutely hates, distance riding. He's a mountain biker, all the way up to like athletes that are looking at me like, come on, dude, you're going to catch up.
Yeah.
And anybody that wants to ride, reach out. I'm sure the socials will be down there. I mean, that's the amazing thing, the cycling community. I've had people drive from 7 states away to ride bikes with me, which is just crazy and very. I'm honored for that, and so yeah, man, we've gotta get together and ride.
There we go. We meet up in Giant Eagle one time again.
Yeah.
But no, it was an interesting conversation. I'm glad we got to have it, and looking forward to more interesting conversations with you, Ryan.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on, and thanks for letting me share my story.
Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys, listening. I know there's been some time in between these episodes. Hopefully you like this one. I know I loved it. And, please subscribe, like, and, leave a comment if there's anything you want to ask Ryan, or just go straight to his socials to reach out to him. And if there's any other suggestions you have for the channel, let me know down below. Other than that, I'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
I got a crib by the water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. I got a crib by the water. Say me casa su casa. It feels like Casablanca. Shawty, you my little mama. She be on that Henny. I like that Corona. I love her smell.